So who here is ready for some success story fun? And on my channel, it's a bit different. You know, you hear all sorts of success stories, a variety of success stories, although many of them do seem to be SP related. And I don't want anyone to be put off here that you're only a success when you've manifested your SP. No, all of you are a success now, and all of you have a success story to share. And Fridays are dedicated to you, to giving every single person here right now a voice. And I post your success stories on my website, and I share it here on the channel as well. Whether you've coached with me or not, I don't care. Whether you've never spoken to me or not, maybe you just discovered this channel today and you're reflecting back because you're here. You're at the Academy of Success, which is my channel, which means that you are going to get success by default because I've decided it. That's my intention for every single one of you. And I set very strong intentions, and that's why I'm inundated with incredible success stories. Why do you think I have such a high success rate with my clients? It's not just because I utilize the modalities of therapy, which not many other coaches do. In fact, I don't think any other coach does, especially to the degree that I do with 3 modalities of therapy, right? This is a mindset shift. I deem people a success when they shift their mindset because everything else is inevitable. But why do you think that is? It's because my intention is so strong. And that's why I get so many people reporting all sorts of successes. It's not just about SP or money, it's success in all areas of your life. That's my intention, and that's my goal for all of you here. And you know what? You can move mountains. At the moment, you might be thinking, okay, look, there is nothing to prove that I can have what I want. And yet I've heard that everyone is self-pushed out, and I've heard that if one person needs to be moved or 500 people need to be moved to bring my manifestation, then it will happen. But how much do you truly believe it? I don't think a lot of us truly believe or realize the extent of the power that we have. We're too busy battling with our ego mind. And this is why I'm a mental health and manifestation life coach, because it's not about battling with your ego mind. It's not about lying to yourself and pushing beliefs down your throat and forcing yourself all day. It's about working in harmony, and it's about having a true understanding of the fundamental principles of this law and seeing what it's capable of. So this is why I share your success, because it inspires me as well. So whether you've coached with me or not, I don't care. Share your successes either down in the comment or email me, and I can share it here on Wish Fulfilled Fridays. So without further ado, I'm going to share, so this is quite a random one. And this is from a girl on our Discord group. Now, on our Discord community, like I said, we've got amazing, there's a lot of my clients on there. Some of them already had SP successes and have shared their stories and stuff. And so there's experienced people, there's new beginners as well. And we're inspiring each other constantly. It's a great way to constantly keep you motivated. And we have a room dedicated to success stories. And so I said to them, I am going to be reading out some of your success stories, guys. And there's all sorts of things, the weird, the wonderful. But the reason why I wanted to share this one in particular was because I wanted to focus today on successes that reflect that everyone is moved, whether it's your specific person, whether it's a third party, yep, they're working for you as well, not against you, whether it's governments that you're dealing with, organizations, whatever it is. Every single person, everything that's happening, whether it seems good, seems bad, seem impossible, it's all working for you in your favor. So this is why I chose this particular story, because she did break it down, and she said that this is what really opened her eyes to manifestation. This is what gave her a fundamental understanding. That's why I keep on stating to you guys, share your success stories, because I also want you to reflect back, not just realizing that you are a success, but also reflecting back as to how did your bridge unfold, because there's so many different ways, right? So with this one, she says, okay, so here is my long ass story about the very first thing I manifested via the list method a few years ago. For those of you who don't know, list method is Joseph Ally has shared that on his channel, a very comprehensive breakdown of how to utilize the list method. Very good way to test the law, and since then actually a lot of people in our community have been utilizing it and manifesting incredible things. So she said, this blew things wide open for manifestation for me. One morning I had a dentist appointment. I chose the 8 a.m. slot, which was the first appointment of the day. I arrived on time. After about 20 minutes, the assistant told me that the dentist was having car trouble and no idea when she would get there. So it was up to me if I wanted to stay and wait or to go home and come back at a different time. I had nothing else to do that day, so there was technically no problem with me staying, and I didn't want it to be like I just got up and left my house for no reason. As I waited, I read a book. I bring a book with me everywhere, so this is nothing new. When the dentist finally arrived, over an hour had passed, and she was extremely apologetic, but I told her it's cool, everyone has bad mornings. I didn't even realize an hour had passed because I was so engrossed in my book. I felt totally calm and unbothered that morning. We did my appointment, and everything went as normal after that. So 2 weeks later, I had a follow-up appointment. As soon as I checked in, the lady at the front desk handed me a Starbucks gift card. I froze and I stared at it, dumbstruck. And the first thing I thought that came to my head was, this shit is real. I'm really going to get every single thing I desire. Imagine that she made that decision just by getting the Starbucks gift card. But wait for it, right? So because I had written down, I received a Starbucks gift card on my list just a few weeks prior to that appointment, which must have been only days before my initial appointment. The assistant told me that the dentist bought that for me because she was so appreciative of the fact that I was so understanding when she'd had a rough morning. Then I went home, I analysed the different aspects of that manifestation, writing all of this down in my journal. What had happened in order for me to receive my gift card? So she's breaking it down now. Number one, I had to choose the 8 a.m. appointment. If I had come later in the day, there wouldn't have been anything for me to wait for. Number two, I had to make the appointment on the day where I had nothing else going on, so that it would be no big deal if I stayed. And so I'd feel like it's better for me to stay than to go home. Otherwise, I would have left my house for no reason. Number three, I had to choose a book that would have me really entertained to the point of which I didn't realize that over an hour had passed. If I'd chosen a boring book and had nothing to occupy my time with, I probably would have been frustrated, which would have been the incorrect mood for receiving my manifestation. Number four, the dentist's car had to break down. It had to delay her long enough to the point where she felt bad. Did I realize that this was my bridge? No, not at all. I didn't book the dentist appointment thinking, hey, maybe I'll get a gift card out of this. Nor did I act nice towards her with any thoughts of, maybe if I'm calm and I understand, then I'll get a reward. There was none of that. Not a single thought about gift cards or manifesting came to my mind at this point. After the first appointment, I didn't think about the situation again until it came time for my second one. So what does this teach me about manifestation? Number one, sometimes I won't know that I'm on the bridge. I could be moving towards a manifestation and completely oblivious to it. Number two, therefore, I don't have to think any special thoughts or try to figure out how things are going to unfold. When the time is right, everyone, including my own self, will be moved as we are supposed to be. Number three, the thoughts that you think whilst you're on your bridge must be implanted by awareness to bring you to the exact place, time, and mood that you need to be in order to receive your desire. She says awareness is smart as hell. Free will doesn't really exist. Given the above statements, everyone, including my own self, is subject to my manifestation. Number five, I don't need to look for my manifestation. That's a relief. Number six, impressing a desire can be as simple as writing a single bullet point. Because that's all she did with the list method. You're writing it down, you're thinking about it, you're bringing it to your awareness, right? And the act of writing it down as well impresses on the subconscious, and that's all she did. And then she said, number seven, once the desire is impressed, you don't have to think about it ever again. You can forget, but your subconscious won't. And I learned all of this from writing it down and then analyzing one single manifestation. Since then, I've manifested many things via the list method, and when big things come, I still break them down to analyze just as I did above so that the lesson is consistent. So, I'm going to put this down. Thank you so much for sharing that, darling. And I know that you were sharing that with our Discord community, and this is what I try to do with all of you, and this is what I do with my own manifestations. Why do you think the way that I teach, and the way that there's a few coaches out there, there's not many, but there's some other coaches that might also share from their own personal experience. They can simplify the law, they can break it down, their teachings are consistent. They're the ones who have lived it and experienced it. Regurgitation means that there's room for error, right? Regurgitation means that we don't understand it. And I want you all to truly understand it, because anyone can just talk about the law and read books. But until you test it and you see this consistent pattern, what do I say to all of you with every success story I read? Look at the patterns here. All of them are very consistent in many ways. Yes, their backgrounds are different. Yes, their situations are different. Circumstances, desires, all different. But the pattern here, the setting of the seed, the planting it, the letting it go. Because of course, if I am something, if I've shifted to my state of I am, I'm no longer needing, wanting, trying to flip my thoughts and impact my thoughts and behaviors. Like I said, all of that is taken care of by the state. Focus on your state, change your state. Everything else is taken care of. And that's what she realized as well. My God. I was in the right mood. I was moved to take an interesting book. I was moved to take that appointment. See, she was moved. Awareness is intelligent above all. That's why it's like, thank you, higher self. You take care of this. I'm just here to plant the seeds. You take care of how that seed is going to grow. And the growth, the germination, it's immediate. Okay. It's a bit like when I manifested my car. Do you know actually how many years ago I had planted the seed for it? Because I remember I was working, because I was really thinking about it. Because like I said, I've been doing this plus 20 years. There's so many manifestations, there's so many bridges, but there's so many times, because it's become such a natural thing for me to do now, I'm not aware half the time of every single bit, every single aspect. I mean, I'm lazy. I'm not like Joseph Say, or even some of the people on our Discord and that, or my clients, like really good. They'll show me their journals, how they've written things down and that. I'm not that organized, but I do remember, you see, I had planted the seed of what kind of car I wanted years prior. I remember like the old style, there was the old style cute rounded Audi TTs, and I was like, oh, maybe that's my dream car. But then the new version of Mini came out. See, that's how long ago I planted the seed. The new version of Mini just came out, the first model, and it was around then that I was like, oh, I'd like a Mini, but I like the Audi TT and the two-seater and the spoiler that's up and stuff like that. So I had these very specific things. This car was not in existence when I was putting it together in my imagination, and I was searching cars for years, and I was just searching them, looking at it. Oh, Minis had they called it the facelift model. Minis had a facelift. Oh my goodness, I quite like the new model and everything. And this again, I was like, doing the thing that we normally do, and you're kind of saving up for it. And at the same time, I had a car that was very decent at the time. There's nothing really wrong with it. So I was like, I'm not ready to get rid of my other car yet. So you see, something had to happen to that car that pushed me into a situation that then made me buy my first Mini. And then that had to unfold, because this car wasn't quite ready yet. It had to come to the end of production for the price to come right down, for me to then get my practically new, only 5,000 miles on the clock Mini. And it was just as I'd imagined. That spoiler on the back, it's got a little spoiler on the back as well, that goes up if you go a certain speed. This is 2 seats, right? They don't make this. People know me for this car in the area because it's so rare. And that's the thing. I've essentially, my intention affected a whole I was looking in the wrong place then. My intention affected the whole organization. Imagine that. I got people within the company of Mini to be moved, to be like, let's create a 2-seater Mini, and then the roof comes down, and then the spoiler goes up when you go 50 miles an hour, or you can stick it up anyway, and it resembles and maybe those of you who know what I'm talking about, maybe there were the 2000 model of Audi TT. Do you know what I mean? They were really kind of curved and cute. This kind of resembles that car. It kind of resembles it. And I don't know why I went against an Audi in the end. I think my passion was, as soon as I saw the new Mini and then the facelift version of the Mini, I was like, that's what I want. But my heart is set on 2-seaters, convertible. I like the spoiler. I want it sporty. I want this, that, and the other, right? there it was. There it all was. And I affected an entire company and an organization and the people in it who were manufacturing it and the person who owned this car previously to then just be like, you know what, 5,000 miles, okay, do you know what, I'm going to just give it back. And then for the company to decide, you know what, we're not going to make these anymore, we're going to stop production, which meant the prices had to come down, which meant that that was the perfect time for my other car to set on fire so that then I would be moved. But when I analyze the bridge of events, I'm like, how many people did I affect with my intentions? And you're all the same. None of you are exempt. You're all going to be affecting so many people with your desires. You might look at your boss who's being a tyrant and be like, how is this going to change? You might look at the third party and be like, they're getting in the way, I just want them gone. They're all working in your favor. If we stopped seeing things that are happening in the 3D is working against us, people are working against us, these obstacles are working against me, everything's coming against me. If I stop seeing it like that and just start seeing it that everything's working in my favor, it's all for the greater good. That third party is there to teach my SP a lesson, or to teach me a lesson, or to play a very integral role to them breaking up, to then my SP coming back to me and it being for keeps this time, because they've seen that life is no good without me and no one can compare to me. Or do you know what I mean? Like, literally you can impact so many people and everyone will be moved, including yourself, and you don't even have to think about it. I didn't think about it. I had set the intention. I had looked for years. I had been looking, I had been searching online whilst I was working. I remember, because I was working like a reception admin job at the time, and I'm just kind of absorbing all these pictures, with an exception that it was going to be mine. At that point I didn't know I already had a car. I didn't have the money for these sorts of cars at that time. But I took a sense of ownership anyway. I knew that that's what I was going to have. And I suppose the impression of looking at these pictures and imagining myself in them, that had this connection to it, that was my way of manifesting. That was my way of planting the seed. You know, like with our girl here who shared her success and how beautifully she broke it down for us. Thank you, darling, by the way. With a single writing of a bullet point and that focused attention at that point in time, with an acceptance that, yeah, you know what, I'm going to write this down, this is going to manifest. And of course, you know, you'll probably think that, yeah, okay, but a Starbucks gift card or car or something like that, we might not be as emotionally attached to it. And so of course I understand too, from the mental health aspect, that when it's a specific person, it's not as simple to, okay, I'll just write it down and forget about it. It's great if you can, but for everyone it's not always that easy, and especially if it's an ex and you've got old story baggage. And that's why I utilize the modalities of therapy. But you're still not stuck. You're still all successes, and you're still all capable of getting success in what you want. It's just, how do you choose to perceive this? Because there's only, every truth, as they say, is it the Kabbalion? Every truth is a half truth. Okay, there's always a duality of life. It is always another alternative perception, and I suppose my job is always getting you guys to see the alternative perception so you can change state and you can truly believe and accept it's all working out for you. So I really hope that this was helpful to you. Thank you for joining me on today's Success Wish Fulfilled Fridays. I'll catch you all in the next video, guys. Loads of love to you. See you soon. Bye.